year has begun. The time of recording this is the 31st of January 2022 for where I'm at the moment. I don't know when you will be listening to this on replay. Funny thing happened. I had a Facebook memory pop up of this same day 1 year ago, and it was almost carbon copy exactly the same as my day, or really the last 2 days that I have had exactly the same. I must admit, the thought did come across to me to wonder whether or not do I really lead such a boring life? Is it really this predictable? But at the heart of it, I believe is it's a simplification or a simplifying of life down to some core fundamentals when you have got lots of responsibilities and lots of roles. Like many of you, you might be a business owner, you might be a leader in your team, and at the same time, you are also a child, you are also a parent, you are also a friend, you have multiple roles, and all of these roles have responsibilities, and they all are ones which you want to do the very best and give the very best of yourself. Like clockwork, beginning of the year, I do a personal wellbeing roadmap, and this is where I really anchor the things that are very important to me beyond my business, beyond my team, for all the things that matter to me as a human being. And here's the thing. For a large part, it is for my own well-being in my health and the relationships that are important to me. It is also so that I can defrag and declutter my own personal space so I can come back and be the best for my team. So January runs like clockwork. It is also the time when I book in my car and I book in all of my health appointments. So here's tip number one for all of you busy leaders who are getting back into the year. Number one, book in all of your medical, health, and care appointments. My car is an amazing car. I call it my faithful beast. It's not quite the beast. It does have red trimming, and it has some of my favorite things installed in the car because it's like another space that I work from. I'm always good with my car servicing. I have this weird thing about seeing the appliances and the machines that we have. They're almost like my friends, and I give them names and they have personality, and I'm really grateful for them. As a result, I take really good care of them. My car is taken in for servicing, like a report. I will give all the things that it's done well and all the things that I'm concerned about my car. How can we care for my car? And it's a great prompt for me because it happens every, the first month of the year. But then while the car is in the servicing, I take myself off to a cafe because it often takes a few hours, and to actually jot down some of my own appointments that I now need to make. So this month, I've actually booked in all of my body care appointments in a hit. They're in there. Do you need to see the doctor? Are you somebody who's been putting off the physiotherapist? Is your eye care sorted? What are all of the things that your body needs to really not just to care for yourself, but also so that you can care for others? Have you noticed that when your body is run down, your resources get really depleted? Your concentration, your morale, your courage, your energy, your fatigue, it all gets impacted. If you book those appointments in from now and they are through the year, you will have the confidence to know that you are taking care of some of the fundamental core needs of your well-being, and that is your body. Additionally, if it is in your diary, your team don't have to worry about you. They can see that you are prioritizing your health and you are actually getting all of those basics covered. And you know what? You're also modeling to them that you care about them, that it's important that they put all of those appointments in as well. And that will have some flow-on effects. Their family will be grateful that's all booked in, that they don't have to worry about that. So tip number one, the beginning of the year, right now, make sure that you have all of your medical and health appointments booked in across the year. Just set and forget. You might decide to change it later on because you've got some other clashing appointments, but never delete it. Tip number two that I have for you is do it with a friend. Do you have an accountability person? Now, this isn't someone who's meant to whip you into shape and to ensure that you've done, all the right things by your body. No, this is somebody who also has it on their agenda to make sure that they're taking care of their body. For many years, my best friend and myself, we book ourselves into our womanly appointments together. Left to my own devices, I would rather do something else, eat ice cream, and probably watch a movie. That's not my most favorite thing to think about, to plan about, or to even just pick up the phone and do it. However, because I'm doing it with my friend and we pace together and we have the same desire to take care of some of the fundamental things at our stage of life, we do those appointments together. We don't go in the same room together, but we book it in at the same time, very often at the same place, and we have a coffee together. And it helps us both to remind one another that, hey, that's coming up. And it's like we can actually care for someone else. We found that it's actually easier to care for someone else than to care for you. And because I care for her, it's so much easier for me to reach out to her and say, hey, looking forward, well, not really, looking forward to us catching up and actually going for our womanly appointments. Do you have that in your diary? Are you ready to go? Do you want to do something nice after? So the basic plan for me in January as a leader of my team and also as someone who just loves my family and just wants to be there for them and who wants to be connected to my friends is my well-being roadmap that is done. The next rhythm that happens in this quarter is to ensure that the rest of the team's well-being plans are done. I have all of my direct reports and my leadership team booked in for our touch base meetings for the first year. They are our well-being conversations. So we look ahead and we think about leave plans. We find out what's happening in our lives just as human beings, how our health is going, if there's anything that we can support one another, what are some of the rhythms in the business and in the practices that we need to be aware of as our people go through the year. The team also meet for our launch meeting, and that is not necessarily a vibrant, let's go get them, go gadget sort of a meeting. The first team meeting is really a welcome back. It's a relooking and resetting at some of the well-being patterns for us as a team, and also to deeply think about what are some of the well-being patterns for our clients as a psychology practice. What may they be going through? What are some of the ways that we can support them in this Q1 period before the year ramps up? Added to that is our leadership planning meeting. This is usually one where we savor our time together, we eat well, we rest well, we do some nice things together. But again, it is setting up the pattern that in Q1, before we run ahead and plan and launch and busy ourselves, we want to ensure that the fundamental, the basics and the core, the well-being rhythms, the well-being patterns of ourselves as individual people, as the leadership team, as the serving team, and for our clients are looked out and mapped out for the year. Is this something that you've contemplated? The rhythms of Q1, the start of the year, right after leave, right after everybody has had the festivities and now are looking right down the line for the rest of the year, almost feeling like, oh, this is too hard. It doesn't have to be that way. By savoring the journey of Q1 and looking at all of the well-being needs, mapping it out, talking about it together, involving one another in the conversation, it can actually be quite an affirming energizing, validating, and inspiring space to be. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, leaders, to imprint, to impact, influence. That's our job. That's our role. Why don't you start quarter one thinking about well-being?